Our chance encounter with Mrs. Sylvia Yacoubian, principal of the AYB Elementary School in Yerevan on August the 17th, 2015, turned to be an informative and very uplifting experience. This very candid video highlights Sylvia's joy and passion in working within the AYB school system in Armenia and preparing a future generation of educated and exemplary citizens. No other work in Armenia may be as rewarding and gratifying as educating the new generation of Armenians. AYB Elementary School is 2 years old.
We started with first and second grade the first year, and we just admitted students that had faith in us because we weren't around, and so we had a lot more students than we had bargained for. We were going to open a first grade and a second grade, just one of each. We ended up opening 2 first grades and 2 second grades. And now we have first through fourth. This year we had 77 applicants for 24 spots. And so we had to open a third first grade because we just didn't have enough room for everybody. And with the third first grade, we have 40 kids this year in first grade. Out of the 77, we had to choose 40, and it was a very, very difficult process. We don't have admissions exams there in first grade. It's not merit-based like it is in high school. And so it's basically, it's not first come, first serve either. Basically, we interview parents. We work with the students for 3 days. We make sure that they're ready for school. We make sure that they don't have any learning disabilities because we're not an inclusive school right now.
Great.
This is first through fourth. It's elementary school. Middle school is 5th through 9th.
They have
high school is 10th through 12th. We don't have a 5th through 6th right now.
That's where
we have 7th, 8th, 9th. We have a gap this year. And next year, our 4th graders, our current 4th graders, will move up to 5th grade, but that's not a guarantee. They have to take middle school entrance exams along with all the other applicants that apply from other schools. Logically, all of our kids shouldn't move up to 5th grade, but some might not make it because academically it is more intense than other middle schools in the country, and so they might be better off in a more at a school with a slower pace, or perhaps not such a stringent or strict curriculum. It's not a strict curriculum. It's pretty flexible, but we go a little bit deeper, a little bit wider. It's more in line with international standards than it is in line with Armenian standards. There are lots of subjects that are not taught. Like, for example, computers aren't taught in elementary school, in regular schools. We have computers. Science isn't taught as a subject. We have science twice a week. We have dance twice a week. We have music twice a week. We have chess. That's an Armenian government regulation. We have a more whole child approach, and not a scientific or math or liberal arts approach. It's a whole child approach. So the curriculum is pretty much encompasses all subjects, and dance and music are just as important as math. And AYB is basically is built on donations. It's a nonprofit school, and it is basically tuition is pretty high for Armenia, but we pay our teachers 3 times more than regular teachers, so the teachers are well paid, so that they are encouraged to come to school, to be energetic, to want to give their 100%, and that takes a lot of funds. We also cover 70% of the tuition for high school. 70% of the students in high school get some kind of scholarship. It could be 100%, it could be 80%, but 70% of the students have scholarship, have funds that we have to find, in the diaspora to be able to run the school. The middle school right now is being built. We have the foundations built, but we don't have enough funds to cover all of the expenses. And when we had the AGBU talks back in October, the Nazarian family was here, and they saw, the school. They were very much impressed, and because of the transparency at AYB, they were sure that, we were going to do what we said we were going to do with the funds. I mean, everything is very transparent. The money, comes in, it goes to the students, it goes to certain projects. The projects all have different people that manage them. And so for the middle school, the way they had it was, the way we had it with the brochure, the donations was, you could donate for a classroom, you could donate for a piece of furniture, you could donate, it could be a very small donation, it could be a big donation. And we were quite lucky because the Nazarians donated for a whole room, I think, a science lab. It was Very, very generous of them. Well, actually what happened was about 5 years ago, we were still living in Damascus back then, and some people approached me from Armenia, and they said they wanted to open a school. We started this project. I got very excited. We finished the project together. I handed over the project, and they said, well, we're out of funds. We need to make money. It was another organization, and it just didn't work out. I was very disappointed because I wanted to do something here, and so finally, when we moved here, because of the events in Damascus, and Vasco and I moved here, and then just as I moved, like about 6 months later, I get a phone call from Father Mesrop saying, we want to open an elementary school. And it was June, and I said, sure. He said, I said, September, right? Like a year later, she's like, no, in 2 months, we want to open a school. We didn't have anything. We didn't have staff. We didn't have a building. We didn't have a curriculum. And I said, Father Mesrop, how are we supposed to open a school in 2 months? And he said, if you have faith, you can do it. And we had faith, and we did it. In 2 months, we opened the elementary school, and we had a lot more students than we had expected. And so, yeah, it is hard work, it's dedication, but it's so rewarding because you're doing something for Armenian kids, and they love coming here. I mean, usually kids don't like to come to school because it's, it's very traditional, it's teacher-centered, they're sitting down for 45 minutes each subject. But here, it's a lot more student-centered. We have activities on the smartboard. They're doing a lot of group work. It's not the traditional way of doing things here, and so they enjoy coming to school. We have to literally kick them out so that they go home. Parents have to drag their kids to take them home. So that's, a sign of success. At AYB, and especially in high school, where we have all sorts of kids from different backgrounds. You've got the kids who can afford to pay $6,000 in tuition. You've got kids whose parents are taxi drivers. You have kids from Artsakh. You have kids from Dilijan. They come from all over the provinces, and they really can't afford to pay $6,000. And so we would love to have them all, except we need more, we need donations for the scholarship fund. These students, when they come to AYB, they are so grateful for being there. They're so motivated. They want to succeed. And what really gets me is when I ask the kids, some of the students in AYB High School want to come and volunteer in elementary school, and I asked them, I said, what are you doing here? You seem to be really smart. Like, why didn't you apply to go to the US? They stayed here to, doing odd things and then going to college. It's not very challenging for them, the university here. And they're like, well, our SATs weren't good enough, and whatever. What was your SAT? Oh, it was 1,300, and it just blows me away. It's like, 1,300, you should have applied, They just don't understand how smart they are, how hardworking they are. They're very humble. We don't even have people that are on duty in high school. I mean, seriously, we don't have a discipline issue. Beautiful. Because the kids are motivated and they want to. All the kids here really want to make a change in the country, and they need to be educated so that they can have the power to make that change. We need to give them the tools to be able to know how to to bring about these changes in their countries. They are especially talented students, and I am very, very happy to work with these students, even in first grade. I mean, the things they do in first and second and third grade are amazing. I'm shocked by the accomplishments they've made in a totally different environment, in a place where, their opinion matters, because usually the kids, they don't ask for their opinions in school. There's no time. They have 40 students in the classroom. School ends at 12, at noon, 4 hours of school. You don't have time to work with the kids. When they come here, we're teaching them how to be independent, to be free thinkers, to come up with their own solutions. And then when they're older, they're going to do a lot. And so we need all the support we can get.